Hello and welcome to After the Whistle. I am your host, Brian Dorrington. It's trouble getting that one out, huh? We can tell it's Friday. I am here with Margarita Mukala Kabungo and Sangria Steve Pafume. I decided to go with the adult drinks. Yes, adult beverages. Please only enjoy responsibly, 21 or older. I just figured we'd start with that. But let's jump into the NBA draft. It was not too exciting. I was expecting some sort of a big trade. I don't know about you guys.
There was no big trades. No,
there was only one minor trade.
Some trades happened with certain picks, but they, they draft this person for another team so they could make some trades in future round. But nothing really too dramatic. It went the way that I thought it would go. The first three picks. Ayton, Bagley, and Doncic.
So you did think Doncic would go third?
Yes.
Before, okay, because a lot of people had he and Bagley switched. Well, why don't we start with that trade? And Doncic was drafted by the Hawks, but he was traded to the Mavericks, I think, right after that. Yes. And in that trade, the Mavericks acquired Trae Young and a future protected first-round draft pick. Steve?
The Mavericks got rid of Trae Young.
Okay, yes. The Mavericks got rid of Trae Young.
Yeah, they sent him to
he's on Atlanta now.
So
Doncic is on the Mavericks.
Right. So, okay, we cleared that up for you guys. It's kind of confusing.
Yeah, it was an interesting move. The only thing that sucks with Doncic, he can't spend his first year in the NBA in Atlanta. He would have Atlanta. If you ever been to Atlanta, it's quite the city, I should say. But
Dallas is okay. Fort Worth is nicer.
Yeah.
If you stay in Fort Worth, you can commute back and forth.
Yeah,
but
Dallas is all right. It's not bad. But I think it was an interesting move. I thought because the Mavericks, I didn't believe they needed another guard because they had just drafted a guard last year in Dennis Smith Jr. and they also had another guard in Yogi Ferrell. So I think this position, because Doncic will play the 3 position, I think the 3 or 4, the way they use them, this is a small ball era. I think.
Yeah, but aren't we in sort of a positionless NBA?
Yeah,
right
pretty
now?
much. But yeah,
I feel like it depends on the team you look at, kind of, because some teams have more positions than they should, some don't, and then some are evenly balanced.
Yeah, so I think, but for the Mavericks, I think it's good. Maybe they could build something with those 3 young players along with Harrison Barnes and just get some players in free agency. Maybe they could get back in the playoffs. The Hawks, they're not going to be good next year. So good luck, Trae Young. You're gonna go through some bumps and bruises your first year in the NBA, especially. I'm sure that he's going to have the ball in his hands a lot. So
yeah, I think Doncic is in a better position than Trae Young for sure.
Yeah.
Steve, what's your take on Trae Young?
I like Trae Young. He was entertaining to watch in college. It's kind of weird, trade, like you guys are saying, but I mean, hey, who knows? Maybe it ends out working. Everything happens for a reason. This is definitely something that's happening for a reason. But one pick I'm actually really shocked and happy about was Grayson Allen. I did not think he was going to be drafted in the first round, let alone at all. Mm-hmm. So when I saw that he was picked overall number 21, I was like, all right.
Good situation for him too. There was some picks in there. The one that I really liked was Michael Porter Jr. going to the Nuggets. I think they needed a wing player because they have two guards who could really score the basketball, and now you have another wing player. So that's a young group. But I'm hearing they're saying he may not play at all this season just because of his back, the back, the medical issues. They're saying they might sit him for this year or majority of the season, depending how his medical is. Which I think it'd be a good thing. It's always good to just sit back and learn NBA before you get out there and you get a reality check. So
yeah, I mean, this was another big story of the night: how far Michael Porter Jr. fell, and I think the Knicks were the next 5 in the 5 spot. The Knicks were in the 4, 5, or 6. I forget exactly which one. Yeah. And they drafted Kevin Knox. There were some bigger names on the board, and Knicks fans were booing that choice, and many of them were chanting Michael Porter Jr., and he fell all the way to the 14th spot. I don't think anybody saw that coming.
I didn't see it coming. I thought he was going to go
I thought he was gonna
10
be.
at least. I
Yeah.
thought he was gonna go number 10.
But a back injury is very serious. I mean, we saw Gronk overcome a back injury, and that was one of the reasons he slipped.
Yeah.
But they're not always easy to come by. So I think it is a little bit of a risk for the Denver Nuggets, but I don't think he's somebody that could have been passed up
Yeah.
at 14.
He has way too many talent because he could. Had he stayed healthy, he would have been the number one overall pick. Had he stayed healthy, but things happen. But the Nuggets really got good. They really got a good player in this one. So if he stays healthy, I think he'll be someone that could help them. Try to get to that next step. The Suns, they also with the addition.
Well, yeah,
of
let's
Ayton,
talk about the we haven't even talked about the first overall pick, which is DeAndre Ayton.
And they also got another solid player, Miles Bridges, who I think is going to help that team tremendously. Miles Bridges, and I believe they got Mikal Bridges in a trade. I believe.
I'm not sure.
I think they got another player in a trade, so I'm not too sure. I know they got two players. So the Suns, they got talent along with those two, Ayton, Bridges, Devin Booker, and Josh Jackson. They got some talent over there. So
there we go. We didn't get a close up on you of that take. We had Pedro in the background. We would have loved to keep him on set and get his opinion on the draft. Thanks for that. So I don't know. I think Ayton is a risk. I mean, is it really like I was saying? It's a positionless NBA. Do you really want to build your team around a big man these days, Steve?
that big man, yes,
That big man,
yes.
Steve.
Maybe I can't say yes or no. Like if I'm looking from a manager's perspective, I want to look at what's going to help my team the most. Whether I have more of this position or more of like the other positions, what will help my team the most? And that's probably what the Suns are thinking. Like Ayton probably will help us maybe move up in the standings. Maybe we make championship. You never know. Like I'm not saying obviously they're going to, but you never know nowadays. So like. That's kind of the way you got to think of with positions. Like positionless, yes, but when it comes to intelligence, that's the one that you want to look at when you're drafting anybody. You want to look at their intelligence on the court, off the court, their gameplay, how they work well with others. Everything, every small detail works well into going into a draft. And I've learned that from years and years of watching it. Sadly, I didn't get to watch this one because I was working, but I was like. I went to the gym last night and that was on TV, so I'm like, all right, maybe like let's watch a little bit while I'm working out, like, and it was interesting, like, even the announcers they were like talking about like small stuff, like, and I'm like, that's all you have to think of.
Yeah.
Listen, you can't coach height, and you can't go coach height that has skills. He has skill. He can score, he can rebound, and he can defend. That's all you need from a guy, and he can shoot it. He can shoot it from the three. So I think. If you're going to build your team around a big guy, you need to build it around a big guy like him because we're seeing the Sixers building around Embiid, and Embiid is, he can score inside, outside, off the dribble, and he plays defense. So,
well, they're in a little bit different situation. They got Ben Simmons too, who's also. I mean, they're kind of building that together.
Yeah, but the Suns have talent. They have
They got Devin Booker too.
Yeah, they have Josh Jackson. So,
yeah,
I'd say give them. They're coming to that point where there's no excuses why they shouldn't be in the playoffs every year.
All right.
They're coming
Well,
to that
what
point.
about the Celtics? Like
That's what I was just gonna say.
we haven't talked about them yet.
Yeah, this is we was just
a
gonna
lot
get
of
into
people
that.
are saying this is the steal of the night, the pick of the night. Danny Ainge does it again. They don't know how. Robert Williams, I didn't know too much about him. I watched his gameplay. Very impressive. Mukala, what do you think about this pick?
Athletic. He's big, athletic. He can play defense and he can rebound. He doesn't need it. That's all the Celtics need. Is somebody that could play defense and rebound because rebounding was they had issues with rebounding at points during the season. But this guy, he's athletic and he could get up and down the court. So if he needs to score, all he has to do is set a good pick and roll to the basket because he's got three guys that could get him the easy basket. Easy. He could get 10 points easily just by moving and rolling him to the basket.
Well, with all the trade talks happening with like the Celtics, like Kyrie or getting rid of Jaylen Brown, like and Celtics needing a big guy, like how, like I want to know like how does this play in, like how does this work with the trade rumors and all that's going on? Like, do you get rid of some of the players now? Do you, if someone makes a good trade, like say someone really wants Jaylen Brown, do you get rid of Jaylen Brown now?
I mean, honestly, if they were gonna make a trade for Jaylen Brown, they would have done it last night. If any team was gonna make a trade for Jaylen Brown or any other Celtic player, they would have done it last night. But I think the Celtics' mindset is they're gonna try to keep the group together.
Kind of build around them.
Yeah, kind of
But
build.
who's going to be coming off the bench? That's hard. I mean, Jaylen Brown, it's going to be Brown or Tatum coming off the bench.
I mean, hey, Pete, you got good options to come off the bench. It's not,
And
it don't matter if you come off the bench. It just matters who finishes the game.
Brad Stevens will definitely like work around that too. He'll definitely like he always watching him. We all know like he makes the best decisions when it comes to coaching. When it comes to injuries, working around players that aren't doing so well, coming off the bench, like he knows where everyone stands. So
are we all in agreement that the Celtics probably aren't going to make a big move in this offseason? I'm not seeing it.
I don't think they're going to make a big move.
No.
I think they're going to re-sign Marcus Smart. It won't be a big contract, but I think it'll be one of those 2-year deals where he could opt out next year.
I feel like 2 years might be a little too much. I feel like just a year maybe.
No, it'll be one of those 2-year contracts, but the second year is an option, and they'll let him test free agency next year. But I think they're gonna try to bring the core back together.
And we know you love that pick.
Yeah.
Let's talk about probably the biggest, second biggest free agent. Well, not even free. The biggest guy on the market, second biggest guy on the market, and that's Kawhi Leonard. He's becoming the most annoying player in the league.
Really?
Because I love Stephen A. Smith's take on this. I don't know if you guys heard it. But he wants to be in LA. He wants the glamour. He wants to wear that jersey, party with the stars. He wants that LA lifestyle.
He just wants to be closer to home.
Yeah, that's where he's from.
It doesn't matter. They don't care where they're from. They don't care where they're from. He wants to
I would.
He wants to be in the spotlight. He wants that big name. And he's not even entertaining re-signing with the Spurs. And he's saying that he's not going to, even if he's traded this year and goes to another team, that there's no way he's going to re-sign. So he's going to Lakers. He sounds like a little baby to me.
He's
doing what he thinks.
He sounds like a man who has leverage, and he's doing what he needs to do after the team called him out. And they disrespected him by saying he's faking an injury. They pretty much were saying he was faking an injury. Having a player meeting to confront him about his injury. Tony Parker going to the media talking about, my injury was worse and stuff. No, I ain't coming back for none of you guys. I'm out of here. I don't want to play for y'all. Y'all was on here talking all that nonsense to me. Okay, we'll see how good y'all are without me. I'm out. Get me out of here.
That's fine.
Bye.
But he's only saying he's going to one team. I can understand that. But now he's saying, I'm not considering any place else.
Okay,
if one of you guys gives up a star player and a first-round draft pick, I'm not going to re-sign with you. I think that is not entertaining anything else. That is annoying to me.
That is a player that has leverage, and guess what? I'm all for player mobility and saying where they want to go. If he wants to be in LA, be in LA. Because I don't want to see him in no small market team.
Well, I hated it when Eli Manning did it and didn't want to go to the Chargers, so I have to hate it when Kawhi Leonard did it, okay?
That's Eli Manning. That's a different guy.
Because I think these people are so lucky to have this talent and to be able to play in the NBA. And when they start being little divas about this, it upsets me. Steve,
last thing before Steve goes. These owners and GMs, they trade players to places they don't want to go all the time when don't give them a heads up. I'm all for players saying, I want to go here. If you want to go there, I want to go here. Control where you want to go. This table's yours.
There you go. Steve?
Yeah,
you can weigh in on this one.
All right. I've always been a Kawhi Leonard fan. I loved watching him on the Spurs. I like watching the Spurs. They're a fun group to watch. So there's talks about him coming to the Celtics. I would love to see him come to the Celtics. Huge fan of him. 1 year,
yeah. Jaylen Brown in a draft pick, and then he goes to LA.
But I would love to see. I love watching him. Great player. Young MVP. Like he is, in my eyes, just tiny bit under LeBron. That is in my eyes.
So you take 1 year of Kawhi Leonard instead of the career of Jaylen Brown. You're probably not going to have to give up more than Jaylen Brown to draft pick. You're willing to trade 1 year of Leonard for that?
I think
San Francisco 49ers took 1 year of Deion Sanders and they got a Super Bowl ring.
That's what I'm saying.
What did they give up for Deion Sanders?
Well, I think Kawhi Leonard could, if he came to the Celtics.
I guarantee you it was not a Jaylen Brown type of young prospect. I can guarantee
I think if Kawhi Leonard came Celtics can win the championship if he came. If they got rid of
They can win
Jalen.
it anyway.
Oh no, they can. Yeah, but we'd have a way better chance now if we got him. Even for 1 year, I'd rather see that championship
I'm
ring.
all for Kawhi demanding to get out of San Antonio. Number one, it's freaking San Antonio. What's there? What's
Greg
there?
Popovich is there.
I mean,
championship rings are there.
Yeah, Greg Popovich. I mean, I like Greg Popovich. He's a good coach and all, but he's a jerk. I can't deal with him.
Well,
Bill Belichick is a jerk. They're similar.
They're one and the same.
But they're great
worst.
coaches. They know what they're doing. That's why.
Yeah, but I would hate to be in a post-game conference and try to get in. No, I just wouldn't do it. I'm like,
okay, so we're spending a lot of time on this, but let's. What do the Spurs do? Let's get predictions for anybody. What do the Spurs do this offseason with Kawhi?
they try to get the most value out of him. I'm sure a team is gonna give up a couple first-round picks and some players for him. But I mean,
I'd give him to the Lakers. They want him. He wants to go to the Lakers.
The Lakers have players.
And yeah, they will get rid of anybody from him.
I think there's no way, if he gets traded, there's no way it's going to be in the West. He's going to get traded to the East.
He'll come back in the West anyway.
They'll send him to they'll send him to the Magic or something. Yeah, go, hey.
And he'll come back to the West. You have to turn down $200 million. So
I think if anything, he'll just wait for free agency.
All right, we spent a lot of. Oh, do we have more?
One more
yes,
NBA
we do.
thing.
Yes, that's right.
Sterling Brown is suing the Milwaukee Police Department for what they did to him. Did you guys see the Facebook post of one of the police up?
Yeah, and I think that's pretty much
that's
like. Well, first of all, it's just the dumbest thing in the world. But yeah, I'm guilty, and I liked being guilty, and I liked what I did.
Yeah.
Did you see the video?
Yeah,
I saw the video.
The video was horrible.
Yeah,
oh my god.
The video was horrible. The Facebook post was horrible. And what this guy get, like, leave? He's on paid leave, administrative leave. Is it those officers?
Yeah, they're paid administrative leave. It's not. I don't think it's a suspension or anything. I do think
the post is a fireable offense.
Yeah.
In this day and age,
and there were other posts too, racist posts that he had made in the past.
Yeah, you can't post things like this and not have any repercussions. I've seen it on Twitter where people, they'll say something that's offensive, and Twitter finds out where they work, where they live, and they bombard the job, and tell them, this is your employee. Do you guys, condone this type of behavior? And people have lost their jobs for stuff they post on social media. So, I mean, this officer, I don't see, whatever happens with this case, I don't see how any police department in the country could, look at him and say he should be a police officer.
Yeah, and unfortunately, these incidents are becoming way too common. And it's really only the high-profile ones that we hear about.
Yeah.
Of course, we know that there's many others.
Yeah, just
the worst thing is too, I saw there was a video of CBS or ABC. They showed the video, and then there was also they showed pictures from the reports that were filed, and comparing the video to the reports, none of it matched. He said that he needed to bring him to the ground calmly. They forced him to the ground. There was backup that did not need to be called at all. Taser was not even needed. That was the biggest thing. But
we
need to say that. It didn't look needed at all.
Excessive force for no reason.
Officer even went up to him. He's like, "You need to back up." And he was saying he's not doing anything wrong. And he backed up. He backed up a little bit, but he backed up. He did what he was told to do. He's like, "You only backed up 3 inches. You're still in my face." I'm like, sitting there what are you talking about? Why you? I don't know why this was a thing.
Especially for parking in a handicap spot.
Yeah,
this is parking.
Even Sterling Brown said it was something that should have been a parking ticket that turned way overhand. And he admitted what I did was wrong. I shouldn't have parked there and everything, but it should have just been a simple parking ticket.
We've all been guilty of parking in a handicap spot once, twice if we're in a rush.
Not yet.
I don't think I've done it. I might have.
I'm not saying I did it. I'm saying
just everyone in general.
Yeah.
Well, we'll definitely stay posted on that to see what happens. We'll update you guys. We spent a lot of time in the NBA, probably more time. So let's go through the U.S. Open recap.
That's all you.
It's all me. Well, Brooks Koepka wins his second in a row. I'm sure probably not too many people know his name, even though he did win a major last year. Dustin Johnson, the presumptive winner, he's putting up soccer balls again. We know that he's never golfed in his entire life. There you go. So Dustin Johnson cracked under pressure. He had the lead after 2 days.
Poor Dustin.
It's happened many times. Tommy Fleetwood actually he played one of the best rounds he played the best round in the U.S. Open history, and a lot of people say it's one of the best rounds in golf in its final round. He almost closed the gap, and it almost went into a playoff. The biggest story out of this was
Mickelson, yeah.
Phil Mickelson hitting a moving ball.
Yeah, I saw
and
that.
apparently the old cultish golf community, a bunch of cranky old people, got really offended, and he had to force an apology. I want your take on that, though.
I think this is the only sport
for hitting a moving ball.
I think this will be the only sport I will ever hear like a old person just getting really, really wound up from. I've never seen that. Like, my papa is 85. Never seen him get wound up from baseball. Hates the Yankees. Never got wound up for that. I've seen him watch golf once. He had somebody next to him and he threw something because it was a bad hit. I'm like, it's golf. Like, calm down. I mean, it's okay.
And he wasn't trying to let the ball go even further because the wind over there was ridiculous. So I don't blame him.
And it was a terrible course.
Yeah.
You know, it's one of those sports that is so old timey.
Oh, gosh.
I mean, they're dealing with. I mean, just in baseball, you know, which is another respectful sport. Guys throw pitches at each other's back all the time, charge the mound. And that's just commonplace.
So
this was just hitting a moving ball.
That was
way
hilarious.
overblown.
That was hilarious. But
Okay, so do you want to? So let's just
quickly,
go into the World Cup.
We'll do a quick recap of the World Cup before we take our break. You guys' favorite player, Ronaldo, got 4 goals in 2 games.
And he got a haircut, I think, right?
He did get a haircut.
Yeah, he got a haircut.
I noticed that too.
He's been watching the show.
He's heard Brian. But so far, Steve, what's some of your disappointing teams?
Disappointing.
Argentina's won.
Mexico, they pulled the upset in the first matchup
How funny
week.
would it be if Mexico won the whole
Honestly, I'm not gonna lie.
rooting for
I'm saying the teams I'm saying right now are Croatia. This is from just watching the past 2 weeks. Croatia, Russia, and Mexico. And maybe if Argentina can make it to the next round, Iceland needs to lose, and they need to beat Nigeria next week to have that chance. But if Argentina pulls it off, I say Argentina. Those are the 3 teams I'm gonna say will win.
France has looked very dominant. They've looked as the best team so far.
So with France, like every team has to balance something out. Saudi Arabia, when they faced Russia, they did not have defense. Their last game they played, different group out there. Only one player really kind of stayed in when that was the captain. But even so, their defense wasn't on point. So like France, their midfield needs to kind of like work with something there. Their defense is good, offense is good, but it's the midfielders that aren't really working too well. Like they're kind of like watching the ball go there and everything, but like they're still. I mean, they're winning though, so they're doing something right. But they just need to kind of. Communication is always the key, and that's what they're doing wrong.
And I just want to plug this real quick. We're starting a new web bonus show after this called called After the Whistle Final Seconds, where Steve is going to break down the World Cup in depth. Mukala, I didn't mean to cut you off.
It's another team that Germany. They need to get this game tomorrow against Sweden. They don't want to. They lose that, then they're pretty much.
No, if they lose that, if you get 2 losses, you're out.
Yeah, that's pretty much it for them. They need to get that one. So there's some teams, and Germany came in as one of the favorites to win this thing. We've already talked about Argentina. They came in as one of the favorites too, and they've been disappointed. They've been a disappointment so far. What's Portugal?
Portugal. I mean, they've been showing really good stuff. So I mean.
They're tough.
It sounds like it's up in the air. I haven't been watching, but you guys have listed you guys have listed pretty much the entire EU and lots of cells.
The next week is if you're a big, I'm gonna say this right now, if you're a big fan of World Cup, you need to watch match week 3 because that's the final week.
Pretty much the elimination.
Yep, and I've watched previous World Cups. I mean, I'm only 20, so I mean, there's only been a few. But the ones I've watched.
You'll be 20 in September, right?
Yeah. But anyway.
He's finally got the right one. There we go.
It's kind of it. Every time I watch the final matchup week, everyone just goes out there with like a fire, like lightning. They just throw everything they got out there. I have seen guys. There was one year I saw a guy almost pass out from running so hard, and I'm like, but at least you're showing the enthusiasm that you should have showed 2 weeks ago. That's what you need day one and day out.
Well, some of them they might not get let back in their countries if they don't win. So that's why they
Probably.
that's why they go so hard. The Argentina goalie, he might not.
I did see that.
Yeah.
I did see that. That was an unfortunate
if
error.
they get eliminated, he might not be able to come to the country again because that was terrible. But I mean, that's our World Cup take. We're gonna go on our break and we're gonna talk about wrestling.
Sports entertainment, actually, now.
Yeah. So quick break and we will be back.
You've always protected me. Every day of my life.
There you go.
Thanks, Dad.
I'm older now, but I still need you. Prescription pain pills, heroin. I know kids are getting addicted, and people are dying. Can you still protect me?
You can protect your teen. Teens who talk to their parents about opioids are less likely to misuse them. Find out what you can say.
350 million people worldwide suffer from depression. While this may come as a shock, what many people don't seem to realize is that depression comes in various forms and is experienced differently in everyone. There is one death by suicide every 12.3 minutes, and 2 out of 3 people with depression do not actively seek nor receive proper treatment. So let's change that. You are not alone. Seek help today.
All right, welcome back to ATW. We are going to talk about MITB, also known as Money in the Bank. I love my acronyms here. So we're only going to highlight a few matches because last time in the prediction show we kind of ran out of time. Steve, did you get a chance to watch the event?
No, I was
You didn't get a
working
chance
again.
to watch the event?
I'm working every night. Okay, everything big that happens, I miss. Okay.
Well, did you catch any of the recaps? Or am I doing this thing alone?
Still no. Okay. But no, I have everything listed.
Do you know
okay.
the results?
I do know the results right in front of me.
Okay, good. So I did watch this, and David Riley watched it too. And we didn't realize, we forgot that the new pay-per-views start at 7, so we missed some of the matches now that they're co-branded. Very long events. Pre-show started at 6. It's a big commitment to watch wrestling. We could start with the Styles Nakamura match. I was kind of rooting for Styles. It was a last man standing for the WWE Championship. Absolutely great match. Started a little slow, but there were some really big spots, including a Styles clash off of the steps, which is something I haven't seen before. And it was finished with a springboard phenomenal forearm through the announce table. So there were some big spots. In the end, AJ Styles won, but I think it should have been Shinsuke Nakamura taking that title. Steve?
Well, first off, did you know AJ Styles is on the cover of the new game for next year?
Is he?
He is.
So it was Rollins this year, right? Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, I didn't watch it, so I can't really say anything that happened. But I mean, I really don't know.
We should have just cut this whole segment.
Yeah.
Well, I'll just go to the women's Money in the Bank match. I missed.
Okay, I know
one.
what happened here.
Yeah, well, I know what happened here. I missed this one because it was before I got there. I told you I didn't realize it started early. Alexa Bliss won, kind of shocking.
Then she ambushed my girl in the ring.
Okay, so this is why we have to talk about women's Money in the Bank, even though neither of us saw it.
Yeah.
Because Alexa Bliss won, and then she ended up cashing it in later in the night against the Nia Jax Ronda Rousey match.
Yeah, and then that kind of made me mad because she hit my girl over the back with a briefcase. But then the next night...
Didn't Ronda Rousey attack her on Monday or something like that?
Yeah, and now she's suspended for 30 days.
Oh, really?
Well, it's a storyline suspension, and she hit Kurt Angle, who's the new general manager.
But
Kurt Angle's still around?
Well, he's the manager.
Yes and no. He's a general manager. He had a couple matches. He can barely walk. It's kind of hard watching him wrestle.
But no, she went to. The weird thing is she went to Instagram and literally made a paragraph like as big as the computer screen is. She made an apology.
I hate social media apologies.
Yeah, I do too. I'm like, really?
They're the absolute
But this
worst.
is storyline. I
Yeah,
mean,
I know.
this is Vince McMahon kind of taking advantage of the new trends
This is me.
in a smart way.
And this is me, guys. This is me playing with the storyline. I hate social media apologies, even if it's a storyline.
Even if it's in the storyline. Yeah, well, I actually predicted a cash-in or interference, but I thought it was going to be by Natalya. So let's talk about the other women's title match, and that was Carmella versus Asuka. Carmella got the win, and we saw the return of Ellsworth.
Gross.
Yeah, I think
Gross.
that's a good word. I think Ellsworth was funny when he was with Ambrose, but as soon as he became Carmella's sidekick, he sort of fell off. Do you know who Ellsworth is?
Nope.
Basically think of a horse and a donkey mixed together, and that's what you got.
Yeah, with some scars on their face.
Yes. And a little goat beard thing.
In very skinny. We have to get a picture
He-
next week.
okay,
of
look at
Ellsworth.
me and then think of me twice as tiny.
Twice as tiny.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, it's tough growing up as James Ellsworth.
Yeah.
But he returns. He made the return. He cost Asuka the match. Carmella retained. The men's Money in the Bank. Now that was very exciting. I love multi-man ladder matches. Couple big spots. Kevin Owens got thrown off a 20-foot ladder by Braun Strowman.
That gotta hurt.
Yeah, I think it pretty much had to hurt. So it was a great match. At the very beginning, they all attacked Braun Strowman with ladders and buried him underneath, which was great. I knew he was going to win at that point because when you kind of write a guy off so early, he usually ends up coming back. He ran through a ladder, which was also really cool. So Strowman wins. He has the Money in the Bank. He's on a collision course with Brock Lesnar again. Maybe this time he'll win. What do you think?
Maybe not. Weird how they play everything out. You think they're gonna win, and then you think they're not. So everything changes day to day for some reason. I don't know why they.
Because they don't make up their mind a lot of times.
That's true. They don't. They like okay. They're like, all right. So we type this. Nope. The next day,
Nothing
nope.
beats TLC with the Hardy Boys and Edge and Christian.
There
and
you go.
The Dudley Boys.
Okay, so you know some. I mean, so the Hardy Boys and Edge and Christian had an amazing multi-man ladder match. I don't know if you saw that.
When was this?
I don't know, back in the 2000s,
Oh yeah, that's
where Hardy got
I thought
speared
you were
off
talking
the.
about recently.
Yeah, go ahead.
Like, didn't Edge
No,
retire?
the Hardys came back. The
Yeah,
Hardys
but
came back.
did Edge retire because of neck issues or
Yes, he
something?
did.
Neck injuries. Christian's just old.
Yeah.
Yeah, those guys were around since
we're gonna get you back into it.
Yeah, those guys were like since like '97 came into wrestling, which is interesting. But and other wrestling. Sad news.
It's very sad.
One of my favorite wrestlers, Vader, passed away Monday, but I believe they announced it.
They announced it Tuesday,
Yeah.
but he died Monday. I was really sad because he was in Boy Meets World.
Boy Meets World. I have
That's
that
what
ring right
everybody-
here.
you
I
know-
have this cameo.
But like, it wasn't even. They got a lot of wrestlers in that show.
Yeah, and
they
he
got
was on
but
for
that-
more
that
than one
epi-
episode.
Well, yeah,
it
'cause he was,
came
like,
back
4
a few
or 5.
times.
he was someone's dad, and
He was someone's dad. And
think it was
living in
Frankie.
Australia.
Frankie's dad.
Yeah,
Yeah,
And-
Frankie's dad.
Yes, that's right.
actually one of my favorite episodes was when Corey and Sean had to go back and forth from Topanga's birthday to the match, kind of like help him win.
Yeah.
That was one of my favorite episodes because it was like really interesting to watch. Like they pulled like a Flintstones thing, and I was like, all right.
Now my favorite one was when they were at the school wrestling.
Oh yeah.
Oh no, yep.
Vader
And then he came and fought
Carried Sean
it.
over the head, and Mr. Feeney comes in. And that one was hilarious.
And he was Mr. Feeney's student.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he was one of those guys that was not only a wrestler, but he was kind of a pop culture phenomenon.
And
Everybody
he-
kind of knew who Vader was.
He was a nice guy. Like he was a nice guy. Like everybody liked him in the company and off. Something
The
that made
Rock
me.
said he used to come in bars in his underwear when they
I can picture. Well, I can't picture that, but I don't want to picture that.
when
Something-
they be out on the road.
Something that makes me sad about this though, he tweeted 2 years ago, and I didn't know this. He tweeted 2 years ago that he had heart problems. He only had 2 years to live. So finally caught up to him. And this was 2 years ago, November 2016. So it wasn't a full 2 years yet, but they finally caught up to him. But I mean, at least he knew it was coming, and so he lived the best life he could for 2 years. So it's like
Yeah.
it wasn't just like a sudden thing. It was kind of nice. So
Message to all: make sure you get your health in check. Make sure you check on yourself.
no dumb
Get those
things.
get those physicals. Make sure you get a physical every year. So, rest in peace, Vader.
Rest
So,
in peace.
We're gonna go to Athletes Corner. This one, I was out in the field on this one. I went out to Manning Field. They were having the Agganis game practice, so I talked to the head coach. I talked to a few of the players. This was actually a cool Athletes Corner. We need to do this more often, go out in the field. So Athletes Corner, and when we come back, we'll talk our favorite sport, NFL, boxing, and then we got to go out and get out of here.
Yeah.
Hello, welcome to another edition of Athletes Corner. We are here at Manning Field, the site of the Agganis game that will be taking place on June 28th. Today, I spoke with Chris Carroll, head coach of the Agganis team, South team to be exact. He's also the head coach of Lynn English High School football team. We spoke with him, also spoke with a few of the All-Stars that are participating in this Agganis game. This is the last game to cap off their high school career. The players are having fun out here, enjoying each other's company. So check out this edition of Athletes Corner.
I think the Agganis game is great. The football game, having played in it, understanding how much of an honor it is and the history, especially coming from the city of Lynn, being from Lynn. It's an honor to have been chosen to coach in the game, and I'm excited to get going. You know, the kids want to have fun. At the end of the day, though, but you're out there, you're playing football, you're there to win. But it's, you know, my approach is to make sure, you know, these kids who are, playing their last high school game on the North Shore have a good time, have fun, play hard, play competitively, and enjoy the experience.
It's exciting, man. I can't wait to play. We made a lot of good friends on this team. We got another week to get better and get ready to play against the North.
All the friends I made over the years, you know what I mean? You make bonds that can never be broken. You know, being on a sports team is like being in a family. Anyone who plays will know that, you know what I mean? So I got friends for a lifetime, especially from this game. Playing with people I've known my whole life, it's gonna be crazy.
So personally for me, I mean, luckily I had two older brothers who went through Salem High program. So I had a couple of really good role models. They actually started bringing me to all the lifts, all the practices at a really young age. So I've been involved since I was like 7, 8. So I mean, just being around that till, last Thanksgiving, topping that off with a bang. It's really been humbling. It's just been an awesome experience.
I just learned not to ever give up. And, I started off as freshman and went to JV and varsity right away, but it was kind of a tough match because I was skinny and I had to gain a couple of pounds and to still play. But I fought through all that adversity and finally made it to varsity, and then I showed a lot to my coaches to start.
Practice is one of the best parts of All-Star games. You compete. It's ones versus ones always, defense, offense, guys going one way. Then high school kids aren't used to that. They're used to going 2 ways, things like that. But very importantly, maybe more importantly, is the camaraderie of learning that just the way you did in high school might not be the only way to do it. And learning from other players, competing with other players, and I think just bringing different towns across the North Shore together is a special thing.
It's fun playing with these guys. It's always a fun practice. We all know each other, so we all try to bring the best out of each other in this game.
Obviously a bunch of the best players from the North Shore and South Shore. I mean, it's just great to compete every day, get the pads back on for another 10, 11 days, then finish off with a bang.
The coaches taught me a lot. They taught me how to cut better, how to move better. It just helped a lot.
It's definitely different to be on the same team as, like, say, Lynn English, like the rival, you know what I mean? So, like, to go against them for 4 years and have them, like, all the blood boiling and stuff for 4 years and then be on their team, it's, like, bittersweet, you know what I mean? Because all the players are so good. But it's, like, to play against them, to be on them finally, you know what I mean? It's just different.
Well, as a player, you know, you're worried about going out there and just trying to play your best and do your best in front of your friends, family, and your town. As a coach, getting ready for it, you know, I'm trying to organize and get a team together to put on a good show in an all-star game, but also be competitive and win the game. I mean, that's most important, right? Is being competitive, having fun, and putting bringing a good product to the field. And you know, you want them to understand the tradition and what this game has meant to a lot of people, especially the city of Lynn.
I've learned a lot about being humble, staying true to yourself, staying true to your teammates, and just all around pride.
I think the support from the city of Lynn, in particular for this game, has been tremendous. This is a game, even when I wasn't playing nor coaching, I came back to watch. You know, to see the top talent in the North Shore competing. You get to see, you know, your alma mater out there, other schools, see top talent in the area. But the city of Lynn's always done a great job promoting. You know, the Agganis Foundation does a great job. You know, just the collection of people that bring this game together really is tremendous.
Like I said before, the friendships and, you know, there's the skill of football they've blessed me with, you know what I mean? Just I've had the opportunity to be coached up by great coaches, and like I said, friendships that'll last a lifetime.
Yeah, it's a special group. You know, we had 18 seniors. We have 5 of them participating in this game, and you know, their senior class left a legacy of really kind of changing the momentum of the program. You know, they ended their ride at 10-1, third time in English history, winning 10 games. So to be able to coach these guys one more time is a very special thing for me.
Coming into the season, I didn't know what to expect because we had new coaches. Then they just showed us that we need to be the leaders of the team. We need to set the tone for the program for the upcoming kids, and that's what we did this year, going 8-3. And I think we should have done better, but we're fine with that to like start a program off in the right way.
Rivalries are tremendous. You know, I grew up on always at English. You know, my father was a coach, alumni from there, so I grew up at the school. But playing in the game for 4 years and winning for 4 years was a special thing. As you mentioned, one of the few classes to do that, and then now coaching in it is awesome. I mean, you know, there's nothing like Thanksgiving football and doing it in you know, my hometown, and you know, the cross-city rivalry is awesome. It's a tremendous honor, tremendous experience. And you mentioned coaching the Classville kids, and I'll tell you they're great kids. You know, it's a big rivalry, obviously, in the season and all that, but it's really special how the kids come together in the city of Lynn, and you know, at the end of the day, they do support one another, and they're playing well together, and I'm excited to coach them as well.
Come support next Thursday, June 28th, 7 o'clock. You'll see.
You guys have been watching another edition of Athletes Corner. I'm here at Manning Field. This was a great practice. Great time with these players. Gotta toss it back to Brian.
Hello everyone, and welcome back to ATW again. We're going to talk NFL, a little bit of MLB, and a little bit of boxing to wrap this up. We're going to talk about Jameis Winston, 3-game suspension. What happened?
Well, this is stemming from an incident in 2016. an Uber groping incident. That's what they said. It was a Uber groping incident. They haven't given out more details about it, but that's what the reason was that they've said so far. He's going to appeal it, of course. Of course he's going to appeal it, but it's a 3-game suspension for now. I've heard they say it may be more. But Jameis Winston,
he's got a history.
He's got a little history, and there's a lot of people, including myself, that aren't big fans of him because of what happened at Florida State.
In the cafeteria, one of those things. Yeah,
in the cafeteria, I don't know if you saw the girl. I think she was on one of the news shows talking about it. One of those late night shows.
I did not see that.
They had a segment about her. They had a segment with her, and she talked about the incident with Jameis Winston, and she gave full details too. So that's one reason why I'm not a big fan, because I have no reason to not believe what the young lady said. But once again, Jameis Winston, if this is all true, why put yourself in a position like that once again?
It's stuff like this that kind of makes me mad. Like, I mean, I keep saying every week, people like professional athletes think they can do whatever they want. If you can see, like, they get suspended for doing like really dumb things, but it also makes me mad that like companies kind of like look in the past and then dig up stuff that like could get someone in trouble, and they just bring it back like years later. It was like the Asian boat like gold medal, like that was 10 years ago, and now it's coming now. Like, why can't you guys just like move on from something like 2 years ago? This is back in 2016. Like,
do we know if there was a criminal complaint or criminal investigation? I haven't seen any of that.
Yeah, I haven't seen any of that. I remember hearing about it, but I didn't make nothing of it. I remember they talked about it briefly, but there wasn't nothing that ever came out about it, unless, I don't know. This is just
well, Jameis Winston is another guy with history, but I've learned my lesson to wait until the facts come out to make a decision. But we should reiterate, Jameis Winston does have a history of these type of things.
And once again, if this is all true, why put yourself in a position like that, knowing that you have a history of certain things that people are not too fond of you about?
Yep. Very good point. Okay, let's talk a little bit about baseball. Brandon Mukala.
Okay, this is nothing serious. This is so funny.
A little bit of lighthearted.
Okay, so Brandon Morrow, he was I think he just got into the locker room. The game just ended or something, and he pulled his back while taking off his pants. His pants.
I want to know how tight was those pants.
I want to know how you pull your back out with those pants. With pants, they are baseball pants. So
they usually wear those pretty baggy.
Yeah, like
he must be the one that doesn't wear them baggy or something. There's no reason why.
I don't know how many days on the DL he is, but he was put on the DL for that. If I'm the manager, I'd be like, I wouldn't even play him for a while. I'd be like, this is like, you need to check.
I'd keep him on the DL until after the All-Star break, just because, like, guy, really?
What is up with baseball players injuring themselves this year? Who was it that broke their hand the other day by punching one of the pitchers? Was angry, now he's out for the season. David Price with his carpal tunnel because of his video game addiction. These guys just can't
David Price says he's gonna find an excuse to get out of the All-Star game, and he's gonna be like, oh, I need to go do something. He's gonna go play Fortnite. He has admitted to this.
Oh, really?
And he is so determined to do this. I'm like, why?
Really is, hours and hours. I guess they have it at the training facility.
No,
right? I guess the whole team is like obsessed with this thing. I've never played it.
Well, if they don't win the World Series, well, we know why.
Yeah, Fortnite. Play Fortnite. These are grown men. These are grown men, by the way, people.
Multi-million
grown
players
men playing.
This is where all our tax money is going.
At their practice facilities. Yes. All right, so let's talk a little bit of boxing now, Mukala.
I believe last week it was announced Triple G and Canelo are having part 2 in September. Not a lot of people are excited about this. I know I'm not. We saw the first bout that they had. It was Triple G won the match, but once again, boxing judges, the most corrupt people on the planet, and now we're gonna deal with them again for part 2. Nah, I'm all right. I don't care. I'll catch the highlights or something. I'm not watching it.
Yeah, I mean, it's a fight that had to happen. It went back and forth. They called it off a few times. De La Hoya said it's not happening. Triple G wants too much money. Went back and forth. After he announced that it wasn't happening on Twitter, about 3 hours later, he said that it was happening. Like you, I'm kind of lukewarm on this fight. I probably will watch it. I might catch the rerun because I don't feel like paying for it. If this was a free one like on HBO or Showtime or ESPN, I'd be like, oh, okay, this is cool, but I'm not paying for the pay-per-view for this one.
Then Canelo needs to stay away from that Mexican meat. So
yeah, right, exactly.
Allegedly.
A lot of those boxers started. But a fight that I would be willing to pay for is Deontay Wilder and Anthony Joshua. Now that's very close to being. Deontay Wilder has not signed it yet, but it's very close to being done.
I believe they have a verbal agreement.
Yeah, and I think that Joshua's team has a contract out there that Deontay has to sign.
Okay.
It's not official, but it's coming soon.
This is the fight that has to happen. These are the two best heavyweights. You know, the heavyweight division is pretty much the class of boxing throughout history. People love the heavyweight division. And for these two guys to fight, woo! It'll be one for the ages. I can tell you that.
Yeah, and one of the guys is getting knocked out. Pedro and myself, I think we think that Anthony Joshua is going to win. I think he's better. He's got more skill. He had a pretty good amateur career. They both have power and questionable chins. But I think the best match, and I think Pedro, who's a boxing guy who I'd love to get on here and talk about boxing, the best match that can be made in boxing is Terrence Crawford and Errol Spence Jr. Both guys coming off huge wins. Definitely. That's the fight I would probably pay to go in person to see. I'd probably fly out to Vegas.
And I'm pretty sure
that's the best fight in boxing.
I'm pretty sure
right
they're working. I think they're probably working on that right now.
But at some point it's going to happen. I don't with the contracts the way they are, with Terrence Crawford being at top rank with ESPN and Errol Spence being on Showtime. And Al Heyman, it's going to be hard to work out, but it could be one of those joint pay-per-views. Who knows? It's something that will happen.
LCTV will broadcast it. If y'all can't do it.
We will break the copyright laws and broadcast that
and give the
live.
people what they want to see.
No, we actually won't do that. We won't. We'll show you the highlights, but we're not going to do that.
Yeah, that fight needs to happen. We don't want it to be like Mayweather-Pacquiao when it happens 8 years after people are actually interested
8 or 10 years after it's too late.
That was also, to me, that was kind of a boring fight anyways, to be honest. I'm not going to lie.
Pacquiao, Mayweather? Yeah. I mean, most of Floyd Mayweather's fights are boring.
No, I enjoyed the McGregor and Mayweather. My whole soccer team sat in there. That was
one of his more exciting fights.
It was a great match. It was a great fight.
I ignored that one. Well, I think we actually
can't really count that.
Yeah, no, I don't count that at all. But that's all we got for you guys today. I think that's it.
Okay, that's it.
The show goes by so quickly. We have a new website. Check it out. www.lyntv.org. Check it out. We got a whole bunch of new things going on there. Check out the website. Come down here. We got movie night July 16th on Monday. No more Fridays. It's Mondays now. So come through. Bring the kids. Bring the wife. Bring food.
Bring your husbands.
We'll be here. I'm teaching a news production class on the 27th. Come check us out. And on that note, happy belated Father's Day. We forgot to say that last week because
did we? Oh, sorry, Dad. Sorry,
Love
Dad.
You, Dad.
Happy Father's Day, Dad.
He yelled at me the other day, bro. That's not. All right, guys. I'm your host, Mukala Kabongo, Brian Dorrington, Steven P. We are out of here. You guys have a great weekend. Pedro wasn't a prima donna today.
Well, then we know. Who knows what he's doing back there? He's probably got his mirror on and adjusting his hair like this, you know.
He's probably sitting there laughing at us.
Yeah, he probably.